Hi Chakits, I have been following you and watching your YouTube channel for years.
I have decided to finally relocate to Las Vegas and want to start a new chapter in my life. I know you're the perfect realtor to help guide me to find my next dream home. I am looking for a modern kitchen, large backyard with a pool and a golf course community.
My name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I help buyers like this all the time, so if you're looking for a licensed professional, give us a call at 702-319-1092 or visit lvhomeexperts.com. Buying a home starts here. Is your credit score holding you back from purchasing a home? GC Credit Coaches is a repair company that's made easy. Their goal is to challenge and remove all negative errors that hurt your credit score. On average, GC clients see about 10.2 negative items removed over 4 months. Start improving your credit score today with a simple 2-minute online enrollment for a free consultation and a complete credit audit. GC Credit Coaches offers competitive monthly pricing, no contracts, no hidden fees, and the service stops once you are satisfied. GC Credit Coaches removes inquiries, collections, charge-off bankruptcies, and repossessions. Don't forget to visit gccreditcoaches.com.
And projects backed by our 20 years of experience. Whether it's a closet, pantry, garage storage, floor coatings, entertainment center, laundry room, home office, custom bookcases, and window coverings, Closets Las Vegas will give you the look and feel you want in your home. Please contact me, Pat, for your free consultation, and don't forget to ask about 0% financing for 18 months. I look forward to working with you.
Attention contractors, remodelers, and homeowners. Is your renovation becoming a pain in the glass? Here at Glass Vegas, we take care of all of your glass needs, from a broken window to custom shower doors, mirrors, wine enclosures, storefronts, railings, and much more. We can even help you with new or replacement thermally broken windows. We're a full-service, woman-owned glass company that provides unparalleled workmanship, excellent communication, and great customer service. Glass Vegas. We do glass with class.
All right, guys, welcome to the LV Home Experts podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Lauren Stark, right?
Yes.
With Simply Vegas.
Yes.
And let's start off with this. How long have you been with Simply Vegas?
Since November.
Since November?
Last
Let
year.
me put this mic just a little bit more. We're going to take this up right here. I should have did this for you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was my fault.
Okay, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Can you hear York? Okay. So you came over to Simply Vegas last year?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. Well, welcome to Simply Vegas.
Thank you.
Reason why I say that is because I've never seen you before.
Stay kind of low key, work from home.
Yeah, a lot of the agents in the office, and some of you guys don't know, we're all independent contractors. So, you know, every time you have an office, you kind of like come in your office, do your thing, and you don't really walk around and chat, right? If you're walking around and chatting, that means you ain't doing business, right?
Right.
How long have you been in the real estate business?
I have been in selling real estate since 1997.
1997, before I was born. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. I got my license at, actually in between high school and college. I was 17.
That is very impressive.
Thank
You know what? I know a lot of people, when they get out of high school, they jump into real estate. If they stick at it, they're very successful.
Well, I work with my mom, and she got her license as a favor to a friend
Okay.
who had sold a home with a very top agent at the time in town and took a very big shafting.
Okay.
And her husband stuck her in this small little rental, and he said, I'm not buying you any more houses.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom said, you know, I've always wanted to get my real estate license. If I get my real estate license, I'll sell you a home. Will Jim allow that? And the friend said, yes, that's great. So my mom got her license as a late in life career. And then she said to me and my brother, we were sitting around, she had a big custom home in Summerlin. And she's like, if you think that you kids are going to sit around the swimming pool and not doing anything and not getting a job or like not going to school, you're mistaken. You need to either go to real estate school or get a job.
Yeah.
So both of us were like, well, we'll go to real estate school. Will you pay? She's like, yes, I'll pay. Go to real estate school.
Oh,
so
wow.
kind of had a mentor. She kind of forced us. My brother went to real estate school as well, but he kind of ended up in the land acquisition for home builders.
Okay.
So he did that here for a number of years, and then he transferred over to Jacksonville, Florida.
And what company was he doing that with?
He did that here for a couple different companies. First Richmond American, and then D.R. Horton here for years.
Okay.
And then he moved to California, but he didn't really like California, just taxes and just the regulations. It was really hard to be able to do what he needed to do. And then he transferred over to Florida, where there's a lot of land in Northeast Florida. So he's working for Richmond American.
And you are a native of Nevada?
I am a native Las Vegas.
Which is, we don't get too many of that. I think you're probably the 12th person that I've met that has been born and raised here. Mm-hmm. For some apparent reason, everybody that's born and raised here, they end up moving. I don't know why. It's just kind of crazy to me.
I love it.
Also, what's impressive is we have a third generation, right?
We do.
Your son is also a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And when did he get his license?
He got his license at 18.
18.
Just told him, follow mom. Just get your license. It can never hurt you.
Yeah.
It can only help you. You can use it for yourself. You can go into commercial. You can do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just get your license.
And the most impressive thing is that you said his first deal was what, 2.5, 2.2 million?
$2.5 million.
He gets a $66,000 check on his first deal.
Yeah, it was. Well, we kind of split that, right? So we kind of
so you split it.
Yeah, we kind of, we helped him
Was
along the way.
it your lead or was it his
Well,
lead?
it was our lead.
Oh,
and
okay.
he took the people around, but he did great, and they loved him.
That's
and
good.
He's a very impressive young man, and it kind of, the first house that they bought, they ended up backing out of.
Really?
And so, he kind of did that ride of real estate where it's kind of like a little bit of an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to come into this money, and then they rescinded on the house. The house just wasn't right for them. It was a little too small. Kind of went quiet for a couple months, and then they popped back up, and we were in Florida at the time, and he took him around. He did a great job and sold them a $2.5 million home in Mesa Ridge. And they loved him. They were like, we love Hunter. They wrote a really nice review, and they on Yelp or Google, whatever review, whatever platform. And so that was his first
Another
sale.
impressive thing that we were talking about, your husband is also a real estate agent.
Correct. We are a family-owned real estate team. So it's my mom, myself, my husband, and our son.
So how does the deals work then? Do you just split it 4 ways or?
Kind of. It works where it's like 50-50 between my mom and I, because we're the original kind of team, right?
Yeah.
And then so it kind of, that's how it splits. And then whenever Hunter steps in, then he'll get some. So we kind of work it out that way.
So you guys kind of like figure it out as you guys go along?
As we go along
Yeah,
with
that's
family,
good.
and
Okay.
we get along really well, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Okay.
So.
What's your current perspective of the Las Vegas housing market right now?
My current perspective is you can throw a dart.
Okay.
I say that a lot.
What does that mean?
It means you can throw a dart and just buy anything that you can find in Las Vegas, hang on to it for X number of years, 10, 20 years, and it will be extremely valuable. Like California real estate, like anything that you would buy in Los Angeles back in the late 1980s, anything that you would find in Carlsbad, California, which is a great pocket of Southern California, anything that you bought in Orange County, California, Northern California, you just hang on to your real estate and it's going to be very, very valuable.
What is making you say that?
Number one, lack of land. Right.
Okay.
And I know that because my brother pretty much bought himself out of a job here. That's why he had to move.
Yes.
So number one, we have a lack of available land. Number two, our no state income tax and all the people who are moving here because of no state income tax. And just Las Vegas. I mean, everybody wants to be in Las Vegas. Like, finally, we are on the map as a major player in real estate, right? It didn't used to be that way. People would be like, oh, you're just a desert, or Las Vegas isn't a real city. And then I would be traveling back and forth, and I'd be on the plane, and I'd, come back to Las Vegas, and pilot would come on and say, hey, we're landing in Las Vegas. And everybody on the plane would like start clapping, right? And I'm like, they don't do this. And when I go to Florida or when I go to California or when I go to any other city, they don't clap when they're like landing.
Wait, do they still do that? 'Cause
They
that's
do.
That's never happened to me before.
It's never happened where we're landing in Las Vegas and the whole plane is like ready to go and get off the plane and just like start ready to go. So, people for years would hate on Vegas, and as a native, I would almost like get my feelings hurt, right? I'm like, it's a great city. Like, I grew up here. It's a great place to grow up. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise my son. And so I just think that finally now we're on the map, especially with, just the major sporting teams that have come here. I think that's really set us apart.
I think the misconception is that people watch a lot of TV and all they see is Las Vegas Strip.
Right.
And that's what they only see. They think that's all Las Vegas has to offer.
Right.
But, I mean, there's a lot to do here, right?
There's so much to do
No,
here.
it is. I mean...
We don't live in casinos.
And what I like about Las Vegas, and I tell this to like all my clients, like, here, everything is conveniently located. It's all about lifestyle. It's not about having a huge yard, right? It's about, as soon as you step out your door, within 5 minutes, you should be at a gas station. 10 minutes, you're at a hospital. If you got to go to a Walmart, Costco, Lowe's, whatever's, pick a bunch of them. If this one doesn't have it, you can go to another one. You have all these options, and I love the convenience. I love the entertainment and the food scene.
Food scenes.
Is actually really good.
It's ridiculous.
And there's a lot of local hot spots all over the place people just don't know about. But they're all over the place.
Right.
But unfortunately, I'm watching what I eat, so I can't really eat that kind of
get
food.
you.
But
I hear you.
I'm pitching it.
I hear you.
Now, what else do you think that is thriving Las Vegas right now? Because home pricing, we did drop all the way down to 430. We're back up to 475. Our peak was at 485,000. And right now we're at 475. I mean, we're starting to creep back up. Last year we went up 4.5%. I see this year we're going to go up another 4 to 6%, the way that the market is going.
So what was your question again?
I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
What do you think is driving it?
Yeah, what do you think is driving the market?
I really think that a lot of people are fed up with just the high taxes, right? As Inflation Nation is a thing, right? It's hitting us all across the United States. So when people start getting their property tax bills and they're getting their utility bills and they're coming and their insurance carriers are dropping them and they're looking at all these, and then just quality of life, right? They're coming from cities where I'm getting calls all the time from people who live in really nice areas of Los Angeles that they don't feel safe anymore.
Yeah.
And so they want to be in guard-gated communities here that are safe, that where they can go to the mall and they can go out and they don't feel threatened, which is really a sad thing.
Yeah.
And then plus their property taxes are going to be way less and, quality of life is going to be better. So that's kind of what's driving it. Plus I'm starting to see the amount of wealth and money that is being poured into the city. And I don't think people realize that, but I can tell just by the listings that I have, my multi-million-dollar listings, and the proof of funds that I'm seeing come across of these really, really wealthy people that are moving here. And then we're getting Hollywood coming. Hollywood 2.0 is coming. That was approved in SUMMERLIN and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
That's driving it as well. So we're just getting so many people moving here for those reasons because no state income tax. Pretty good climate. Yeah, it's hot, it's dry, but we don't have any natural disasters here.
Yeah.
So all those things, people are like, you know what? I'm tired of paying, the state of California, the state of New York, state of Illinois. So let's make the move.
I remember 8 years ago when you had like $1 million listing or $1 million buyer, that was like a luxury buy.
Correct.
Nowadays, $1 million doesn't really get you too much.
Not too much anymore.
Honestly, like at $3 million, you're just kind of like just in the room. And if you want something like really just like
5
crazy,
million.
yeah, it's like that's
5
where
million.
it really is at.
5 million plus.
And the amount of homes that they're building out here, especially on the luxury side and the style of the home, is really attracting a lot of money out here. And there are a lot of benefits for wealthy individuals. And I've noticed a lot of them will come out here, they'll buy the home. I live here 6 months and 1 day out of the year and take advantage of the situation.
Correct.
And things are moving along that sector, which is kind of crazy. And I remember when there was a Christopher home that I was touring. It was up in the McDonald Highlands. And it was a detached single-story home with a pool on the second floor. Had like a game room. And it was at 1.8 at one point. And at this time, I had enough money to buy it. But I'm like, who the hell is buying this for 1.8 million? But I love the property, right? And at that time, it wouldn't make sense for me to liquidate everything I had to buy the property because I don't want to get emotionally attached because sometimes that happens.
Right.
Right? Because in real estate, obviously as an agent, we have to save our money and we have to utilize our money correctly to build more and more wealth. That's just the name of the game. So I didn't buy it. I look at the pricing now and that same home sold for $3.8 million. And now I'm sitting here thinking like, I think I'm just bought out the market for what I want now at this point. And I'm literally chasing inflation like crazy.
Well, everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody is right now. So we had some buyers in town this past weekend, and they wanted from California, K, and they want a new construction home for around $500,000.
Yeah.
So in a nice community. So we took him to Inspirata, and we took him to the
Get on the
KV.
waiting list, but go ahead.
Yes, get on the waiting list. So it was like the parking lot was completely full.
Yeah.
You couldn't find a spot in the parking lot. It was like they were giving away free houses. The
Yeah.
amount of people that were running through these models and wanting to buy homes, and then it was like, okay, I like this 2024 model. Well, so did 15 to 20 people per lot. So you have to get on the waiting list.
Yeah.
And you have to wait, and hopefully your name gets drawn. And
Yeah.
good luck.
And you know what? You make a good point. It's not even the waiting list. It's you get on the list to draw.
To draw.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit unfair because I could walk in today and drawing starts on Friday, and you get the results on Sunday, I think. And sometimes you could be the lucky person to actually get it, right? Which is I had that for one of my clients where
Some people are lucky.
the first week we didn't get it, but the second week we got it. But then we ran the numbers. He got financing through the builder, looked at his payment, was slapping his face. It was like, yo, I can't pay this much. And we couldn't move forward. And that's another issue that I see that we're kind of running into as well, because like I mentioned before, you know, I have over $30 million of approval letters. And the buyers today, they are being more particular on what they're looking for. And they're very like slow on pulling the trigger. And the ones that they do pull the trigger on, right? They're great properties, but we're getting beat out at this time.
You're starting to see that. We
Yeah.
don't have much inventory. So that's the other thing that people don't realize
Yeah.
is that we have 8 weeks supply of inventory.
Yeah.
Out of that 8 week supply of inventory, maybe 30% of it or 40% of it is garbage or tenant occupied,
Yeah.
you know, where somebody has to be an investor. We're seeing a lot of new communities that are popping up that are rental only. So like Christopher Homes is building their luxury rental only
Yeah.
community. And then you have these other home builders that are buying, you know, land that they're going to build single family homes, but they're only going to be for rent.
Yeah.
So it's never going to change hands to an end user or an owner. Then we had, you know, all these big corporations come and buy our houses. So we don't have a lot of inventory on the market, and not a lot of inventory is going to come on the market. That as soon as interest rates lower, which, you know, that's who knows when they will, but it's an election year. So probably I would say, if I had to guess, like towards the end of the year, like as we get closer to the election, they're going to want to get reelected, right? So like, they're going to do something to maybe sway those interest rates down. Then we're going to be in multiple offer situations once again, which we are on some properties, depends on where you're at.
Oh no, trust me. I was literally out in the northwest side of town with a client, and I looked at this home. It was for $435,000. It was a century home, 1,900 square feet. It was such a clean home. The backyard was done, covered patio, synthetic grass. I looked at this deal. I'm sorry, it was 415. I looked at this deal and I said, look, you better buy this home. So we're like, okay, we're gonna buy it. Fell in love with the home. And he's like, how much do you think I should submit the offer for? So I looked at the comps. I'm like, you know what? I have a VA buyer, but I know that this thing can go up to $435,000. The agent had mispriced this thing. So I said, hey, look, we're going to submit an offer at $435,000 and just ask for $10,000 towards closing costs. So that way, at least the seller makes some sort of money, right? They actually accepted another offer. We got beat out from another higher price offer. Couldn't believe it.
What did they sell for? Do you know?
No, they
No.
wouldn't tell me.
Oh, they didn't tell you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes on the VA side could hurt us a little bit, you know what I mean? But whatever's.
My secret for multiple offers is
Yeah.
everybody always bids in like $2,500, $5,000 increments.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you always have to be a little odd. I always tell my clients, like, be a little bit odd number. So if people are bidding in like 5,000 increments, you want to go maybe, you know, bid in $8,000 increments or something like that.
Yeah.
Just be a little bit odd.
Normally my tactic on that, I would always write on the additional terms that my client is willing to pay $5,000 above the highest price offer, but not to exceed this price.
That's an interesting tactic.
Yes, and that used to work for me all the time. I didn't do that on this deal because there was only one offer, but I didn't think somebody was going to write an offer that was like $10,000 more than what we have, and that was a strong offer, but we couldn't go any higher anyway. This was basically our highest and best. So, you know, when I say highest and best, this is what my client's willing to pay. out the door. If we can't make it happen, if it was $1 more, we'd walk away. So that's what the agreement was at that time. So sometimes that strategic strategy works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's a case-by-case basis. Right. Also, unfortunately, in today's market, sellers or the listing agent is also looking at the type of financing as well. That plays a big part because, with VA financing, I like VA because those are easier deals to do. But
I love VA. They're solid.
They are.
They're always solid.
Yeah. The only part that's difficult is depending on the VA appraiser. Number one, there's not too many of them out there, so your appraiser time may take a little bit longer. And it really just depends on who the appraiser is because an appraisal is just based upon one's opinion. Now, obviously, on the conventional side, they're a little bit more lenient, a little bit more flexible, right? You can get a tie water, you can challenge it, you can go back, and chances of that happening is pretty high, which is we try to do that, but on another deal, and we got denied. So it's always a case-by-case basis. But as an agent, we always try to fight as best as we can, but that's where the experience comes in, right?
Right.
Of how to negotiate the deal. But man, I was swinging. I took every tool out of my belt. Didn't work. But that's just part of it. I know.
Sometimes things happen for a reason.
Yes.
Maybe it wasn't the right house at the right time. I always believe in that. So.
But what's crazy is like we had another offer accepted, but like I said earlier, it was a payment shock. And normally, we do our homeworks up front and say, hey, look, it's important that you get financed. You know what the numbers are. But when reality hit, like, I'm scared.
Well, that's why I don't understand when buyers don't want to get pre-approved before they just want to go look at houses. And it's like, no, you need to go get pre-approved because you need to see exactly what it is, especially now that they had all these, lending regulations and the loan level pricing adjustment. It depends on what you're going to put down. It depends on your credit score and depends on what program. So
I think what it is it's look, all our buyers, we do our approval up front and we have them do the homework. We show them what the payment is. But I think what happens is the way that the market is going right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think what happens is when you're a first-time home buyer, you're just kind of like, I don't know, I'm scared, but I want to do it. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like a gut feeling, like, should I go for it or not? And I understand that because when I bought my first home, I was going through that. I was scared because I was in an apartment complex and I was paying $1,200 a month and I wasn't making money back then. And this is like 20 years ago, right? And my payment was going to be $1,600. I was so scared. Oh my God, I'm committed. 30 years, $1,600. It's like, you know what I would give for a $1,600 payment now?
That's so funny. My first mortgage payment was like $800, and I wish I would have kept that property. And it was a beautiful condo in Summerlin, and it went into construction defect litigation. Yeah. And so, we were in our 20s, and I was like, I want a house, and, I have a dog, and I need a backyard. And so we ended up selling it. And man, like $800 a month. I should have kept it, should have rented it. We paid $120,000 for it. It's worth like $350,000. And live and learn.
And a lot of people always talk about like you can always buy down your interest rate or you can just refinance. And I don't really push too much of that because as a real estate agent, I don't have a crystal ball, because if I had a crystal ball, honestly, I wouldn't be doing this right now.
Absolutely. I tell people that all the time.
I'd be at Hawaii, Maui, wherever it is, sipping on Mai Tai and just enjoying my life. But a lot of people will say, hey, you can always just refinance. And I could say that's true in a sense because that first deal I got, it was at 4.2%. And I thought that was like so high when I first got my house. And I was like, man, this is so expensive. But when the rates changed, I dropped it from, that 4.2 down to like 3.2. And I went from FHA to conventional. And it only cost me a couple $100 to refinance in a whole different loan. I got rid of the FHA loan. Now I could just rent out the property. And my payments are $930 a month. Like, you can't get that nowhere, right? And that's the same case nowadays where you have to kind of think about that. If the rates do drop, you can always refinance, right?
Right. Can always refinance. Just depends on, what deal you're going to get and if it makes sense, because, you start over.
Yeah.
You have to start over, right, from the 30 years. Yeah. And, you're going to have some closing costs associated with it. Yeah. So you have to see if it pencils out. But from where the rates are now at 7%, with the home prices being where they were, because when I was selling real estate all in the 90s, or 2000s, early 2000s, that was a normal rate. like 5.5, 6.5, 6.5 to 7.5 was pretty much a normal standard rate, but the home prices were like 250,000. So it was
and that it kind of washes it out, and I totally understand. You know, talking about interest rates, I've noticed that new homes, right? They have a lot of great deals. Number one, as far as interest rates, like there's some companies out there, I'm not going to mention who, but there's some builders out there that are doing that like at 4.99% I've seen, which is kind of crazy to me. Also, they're giving out incentives, and I think that's the reason why new homes today is pushing, you know, all these incentives, all these products, and what they're doing is all the new buyers are going towards new homes at this time.
Absolutely.
Then what's happening is, and this is smart on the new homes, you know, they could release all these lots if they wanted to, but they
can't
choose not to.
Build them though. They don't have the
the capacity to
they
build.
They don't have the capacity and the labor to build fast enough, at least quality, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can slap them up, but like it needs a little bit of time to make sure that they're taking care to build. You know,
I understand that part, but there are some communities here in Las Vegas, they actually have standing inventory.
They do.
But like if you went to Inspirada, they don't have standing inventory. If you went to Southwest KB Homes, they don't have standing inventory, because what they do, and what I realize is that they create a FOMO. This is what I feel like. This is straight up, okay? I feel like they only release 3 lots at a time, but like, hey, we don't have anything. But if you are interested, you get on the list. But here's the list. There's 100 people. So now you're like, oh shit, I really want the home. So you get on the list. Now it becomes like a drawing. And what happens is they can take their time as production goes, because they're a little bit slow, right? You're saying not enough employees, let's just say.
Yeah.
So
6 to 8 months to build.
so as they're building, and they have more, you know, power to build more and more homes, right? Working power. What happens is now they can force the price to keep going up every single month, because I've noticed these home pricing are constantly increasing about $3,000 off the base price every single month.
But that's the beauty of buying new homes. My mom and I were number 3 in Summerlin in 1999 or 98, 99 for selling new homes in Summerlin. And that was the beauty of buying a new home. And that was like how we would sell it, right? Buy phase 1, buy phase 2, because they have X number of phases. So if you buy in, then you're kind of building equity as you're waiting for your home to be built. So that's kind of the beauty of buying a new home, is those phase releases and getting in early, or even on a closeout, right? Even if you're at the end of the community and you get a closeout, that's a great time to buy a new home also, you know.
Why would you say the great time is towards the end as well versus the beginning phases?
Because
explain that.
They're closing out and they want to move on to the next community. They want to be done with that community, move on to the next. They want to get the inventory finished off their books, and it depends on, especially if it's at the end of the year, right? If they're phasing out their community, it's the end of the year and they've got their shareholders to be held accountable to, they're going to give you some really good deals. So I think that's a good time to buy as well for a new home. Always deals.
Well, that was a great explanation as I was adjusting the camera.
Where, are you going over here?
No.
Over here?
I should have told you that. I'll have to do that, because what happens is the camera kind of shuts off after 30 minutes.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to hit record again.
Okay.
So that way we capture all this. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Where do you see the market heading 3-5 years? Do you think we're still going to keep going up?
I do.
Really?
I'm very bullish on Las Vegas. I've always been bullish.
I can tell.
I love Las Vegas. You know, it's my city. I was born here. But you can just see what's happening. I can see it. I can see it by the number of wealthy people who are moving here and the proof of funds that I'm getting across. Numbers that we've never seen before with these major players who are coming into the city. We don't have any land left. People come to Las Vegas and they're like, oh, it's a desert. It's just, there's tons of land. It's not. It's spoken for. And then anything else are, you know, the BLM land exchanges. We're pretty much done from mountain to mountain. So the builders are buying the infill parcels, and you'll see that, right? Where they're buying like the infill parcels, like Blue Heron bought those infill parcels kind of near McNeil Estates over there, you know, the downtown area. So that's what we're going to start seeing. You know, the market has completely shifted from what it was, where it was like vast desert, to this city that doesn't really have any land left. So it's just supply and demand. We have so many people moving here and not enough houses.
So how come why do you think the federal government is not giving up some of this land? Because we're running out. Shouldn't they give us some of the land?
I don't know the answer to that
We're going to contact your brother.
Yeah.
We'll find out what's going on.
Well, one of the big land exchanges, I think it was for Mountain's Edge.
Yeah.
You know, the story behind that was whoever was bidding for that land at that time, they kind of had an ego match. And so like the land prices, they kept like bidding against each other, and the land prices kept getting higher and higher and higher for that land. And that's why Mountain's Edge kind of like started here, and then when the market corrected, it kind of went here because they bought the land.
I noticed in the Southwest, American West, they own a lot of land out there.
He's from Vegas, Larry Canarelli is
a
Vegas guy.
Well, obviously he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he had a lot of land.
Let me ask you this, because you do high rises too as well.
I do.
What's that sector like right now?
It's a very interesting sector of the market because we don't have a lot of high rises. So unlike other major metropolitan cities like Chicago or San Francisco or Miami that have hundreds of high rises, we are very limited in our high rise building inventory. So you have residential and then you have the hotel condos. So those are two separate,
So correct me if I'm wrong. Last time I checked, I think there was only 23. Is that correct?
I've never counted them.
Yeah, I think there was 23.
23 total high rises.
But I think there's 3 high rises where they do the co-op, which is the Trump Tower, the Platinum, and there's one more.
Signature MGM.
Yeah, Signature.
And Palms Place.
And Palms Place, yeah.
And
so
Vidara.
Vidara too.
Vidara.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's 5. Okay.
And Cosmo, if you can get a unit in Cosmo. They only closed, like we sold over 100 Cosmos at the time when they were building, and then that was a whole kerfuffle of what happened with
Didn't
that
they have that
situation.
construction defect on that?
They
or something
had
like that?
where in their contract they had to deliver the construction by a certain date, and then they ran just way past that date because what happened was they built, if you know the Cosmo, and they have that parking garage that goes underground, they ran into that water table, and like their construction costs were just
Off the roof.
Through the roof, right?
Oh, wow.
And they just kind of were belly up, and then they were getting acquired and bought out. So they let everybody out of the contract because all those high-rise contracts that were pre-construction at the time had no financing contingencies. And at that time, the market's rolling, right? 2005, 2006, everybody's rolling. They're like, no big deal. We have the money to put down. They gave the 20%, 30%, whatever they wanted, depending on the builder. And at that time, they were like, no, I'll just pull the equity out of my house. That's fine. I have the money to pay for it. And then the market crashed, right? And then people didn't have any money to, like, the equity to pull out of their house to buy. So when that happened with Cosmo, then everybody was like, yeah, we'll take our 20% back. And so you had a handful of people, I think there's like 13 or something, if you check the tax records, 13 or 15 who actually closed on their Cosmo units. And those never saw a correction. Those always kind of came out at that 800, 900,000 for a studio unit. And then the corner one bedrooms would come out 1.5, 1.7. Whereas in the other buildings, like they retained the deposits, like Trump kept the deposits, Palms Place kept the deposits, and then they had to kind of resell the building over again. And then the prices, did what they did.
What's the average price point per square foot right now for the high rises?
I would say for a residential building, you're looking at about anywhere from 500 to 600 square foot, which is still, well below replacement value. We have the Four Seasons being built in McDonald Highlands, and those price points are coming out about $1,500, $2,000 a foot, and those are selling extremely well.
Yeah, no, I think they're. I was thinking about buying one. Matter of fact, I gotta get with Peter, and I was pricing it out. I would be into for almost like $3 million for the 3 bedrooms, which is still a great price. But by the time they built it out in completion, you probably get $1,500 to $1,900 a square foot, which is kind of crazy to me. But that's like one of those plays where you go all in. If it works, it works. If not, you lose everything.
Well, there's 4 penthouses, and they've sold 2, and the penthouses are $20 million and $30 million.
Which is insane.
And they're hard contracts now. We're not talking reservations. We're talking hard contracts.
Yeah, and there's with the buildings, there's one that has like more for food, like the Vive, because you have a restaurant, and the other one's more like entertainment. So they're 2 different vibes. So matter of fact, I got to go up there and kind of see what that is all about. Because
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the renderings, I've seen all that stuff. It looks great, but as far as for an investment play, if you have like $3 million to like invest, that is a great investment. But I mean, if that's all you have, I wouldn't do it. So.
Right. Yeah.
So you see no market crash, no corrections. We're gonna go up and up. What's your predictions of interest rates? You think they are gonna go down for sure?
I mean, we're taking out our crystal ball, right? I mean, I'm bullish on Las
just
Vegas.
your
My
guess.
guess on
Yes.
interest rates that right before the election, I think that, things are just so expensive for people just from everything, from groceries to gas, from everything that, everybody can feel it. They can say whatever they want, but everybody can feel it in their pocketbook. So I think that they're going to want to try to sway it and try to maybe manipulate it down to before this election, but inflation's still out of control, so they're having a hard time
Well, they have to
managing.
fight inflation, because if you drop interest rates too low, too fast, what happens is you print more money, people can go out there and spend money, but then what happens is inflation runs rapid, so you have to kind of tame it that way by having high interest rates. But then the problem is that if you have too high interest rates, people are not borrowing money, the economy starts to retract. So I feel like Jerome Powell is kind of like in between, in a corner, and you have to kind of do like a fine balance. You see what I'm saying?
It's not coming down. So, and our demand's not really stopping. I mean, we still have active buyers in the market because everybody gets tired of waiting, right? So it's like,
Yes.
it's like when COVID happened, right? And when we first got locked down with COVID, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is like so weird. And then we got all adjusted to it, right?
Yeah.
It was like the new normal. And so that's kind of the same thing with interest rates, right? It's like, oh my gosh, they're 7%. Oh my gosh. And then I'm going to wait. The market's going to crash. Oh wait, the market's not crashing. The market didn't correct itself. Market went up 4.5%, 5% last year. So, I'm tired of waiting. I just want to buy something. So I'm going to go ahead and do it because I'm tired of waiting. I want to live my life, and it is what it is kind of mentality,
I feel like that the average household income earner here in Las Vegas, they're having a hard time buying a home, honestly.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. I have a 20-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So he's a Gen Zer, and, he's, a bright young man. He's getting an accounting degree, and it's like, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to, get ahead so that you can buy a house, right? And because gas is so expensive and just groceries are so expensive, going out to eat, I want to go get, a meal from Protein House, and it's like $20, And
I love Protein House.
I love Protein House.
Make sure to
too.
sponsor us now.
Yeah, sponsor us, Protein House. He came home last night with his Protein House, and I was like snagging on his, air fries.
There's this thing I'm actually addicted to, Protein House. I know this is off topic, but it's called Vanilla Gorilla. And it's
Okay.
like a coffee protein shake, but it's actually really good. And I always eat the grilled chicken with the turmeric rice, and that's it. I had to share that because it was so good.
It is so good there, but I'm saying like meals
Yeah.
are so expensive, so I feel bad
Yeah.
because growing up in Las Vegas, right? One of the things, the attraction about Las Vegas was that it was affordable, right? So that you can move here, and people who were ahead of the curve and started moving here from California in 2015, 2016, 2017, they were able to sell their $1 million houses
Yeah.
and buy a replicate for $500,000. And
Yeah.
now that margin has really narrowed, and that gap has narrowed. And it's like, now we're kind of like apples to apples. Before it was apples to oranges, and now it's
Yeah.
just kind of getting closer. So it's
But the
sad.
fascinating thing is that, like, I work with a lot of clients out of state. Hawaii, California, New York, especially like Chicago. With their pricing compared to our pricing, and they start to look at their economy versus our economy, and they start to realize I can save a lot more money here. I can sell my home, make a profit, come here and buy these homes cash. For them, it's nothing. But for us locals, we're like, yo, what is going on? And what I feel like what's happening is that the out-of-state buyers are taking advantage of this marketplace, which is pushing the price up.
They're pushing
But
the
then
prices.
all the people that live here that's just making a living, right? Average household income, $80,000 a year, is getting pushed down. And it's getting harder and harder to get a home for the people that live here.
I mean, I think you're seeing that in a majority of cities across the United States. You see that in Florida. That's happening
Yeah.
in Florida. I'm licensed in Florida. We have a property in Florida, and people are complaining that it used to be so affordable in, this northeast part of Florida, and that's being taken away. You're seeing that in Texas. You're seeing that
Yeah.
just everywhere. People are going to Montana. People are going to Wyoming. You're seeing that all across America, and that's just kind of what's happening.
There was a story out that they were saying that based upon the median price point for a home here in Vegas, you now need to make about $120,000, which is kind of fascinating to me.
I saw that.
$120,000, like, not everybody makes $120,000.
Our school teachers.
Yeah.
Our school teachers don't make anything. They should be making that per year, but they don't.
Yeah.
You know, and so it is becoming unaffordable. I mean, we have an affordability problem, but we have an affordability problem all across the United States. So, you know,
I'm not worried about them. I'm only worried about our people. So what do you say for that young entrepreneur or like your son, right? Mom, I want to get a home, but I can't afford a home because I don't have enough for a down payment. My debt to income ratio is not there. It's too high. You know, like, what do you say?
What do I say? I say, don't go out and buy frivolous things.
Okay.
Okay. He's getting an accounting degree, which is super useful. So if you are going to school, don't get a degree where you can't get a job, right? Get a useful degree.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just save your money, and then maybe find somebody that you can partner with where you can buy a house together. Like my husband's first condo that he bought, he did like a grant program and he bought it with his best friend and they bought it together, you know, as tenants in common. And, you know, when they sold the property, they, you know, each took the profit.
Their half, yeah.
So maybe that's a good idea because that's what you're seeing is a lot of, you know, or buy a house and get roommates, right? To kind of supplement the mortgage payment. So, but they're going to have to save a lot of money, you know, to be able to afford. And maybe if they have, you know, parents that can help them out, you know, with a down payment, you know, that would be awesome, but not everybody's
now
in that
there are
situation.
tons of programs out here, like if you work at a casino, right, there's programs for a casino if you're a teacher, law enforcement, so they do have loan programs as well. Also, another thing is that you know, you don't have to move right into a house right away. You don't have to buy a house. You may want to consider a townhome,
I think that's
or
a
you
great
can
option.
start off with a condo.
I think
at
that's-
least you own something.
I think that's
you
a great
know
option.
you're not going to live there forever.
Correct.
And what's going to eventually happen is you're going to rent that out, and then you're going to source that for your debt to income ratio. Then now you can go buy a townhouse or a house that you want.
Correct.
Because when we start off our lives, you don't just start off by making $100,000 a year.
You
Let's
don't
get
start
real.
off and buy unless
Yes.
you're like an influencer or something. And you have, you know, you're buying those houses in McDonald Highlands when you're
Because,
super young. But
you know, when I was in my 30s, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just floating from job to job until I hit 31. I was like, you know what? I got to make a change in my life. I got to become a real estate agent. This is what I want to do. Then, you know, you go from job to job, then you start to realize, you know, from the age of like 30 to 40, then you start putting the pedal to the metal because that's where you start to figure it out, right? Then your prime time is around the age of 40 to about 50 years old, right? Where you make the
money-making years.
most of your money.
correct.
How do I know that? Because I read a lot of books like,
Good to know.
you know, The Demographic
Yep.
Cliffs by Harry Dent. He breaks all that down.
My dad told me that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad's an accountant from Wall Street, but he's very
Okay.
entrepreneurial.
So,
but he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's like, these are your money making years.
Yes.
You know.
So it's like, typically that's what happens is like when you start hitting your 40s, that's where you start really making your money.
Right.
And that's where you get the big houses. But then when you start getting to 50, you're like, oh, readjust. Kids
Less
are
is
moved
more.
out. They went to college. We got to downsize. Now we're baby boomers. Let's get down to a 2-bedroom, gated community, you know.
I wanna travel.
Exactly.
Less is more. But we're seeing that a lot though too.
Yeah.
We're seeing it's interesting because in a lot of the custom homes for a while, you know, those big 10,000 square foot homes, it was just too much and people
Yeah.
wanting to go to 6,000 square feet. So
Yeah.
that's where you saw a lot of Blue Heron was building that, you know, 5,000 to 6,500 square feet because, you know, a lot of buyers wanted still a nice home, but they didn't need the 10,000 square feet. And then COVID happened, and then people were like, "Oh, I need that 10,000 square feet because I need an office. My spouse needs an office.
Yeah.
I need a gym. Now I want a wellness room, right? We want the cold plunge and the saunas, infrared saunas in our houses. So they want to keep everything contained. So it's kind of interesting. But you're just buy something if you can afford to buy something, and you can get a new construction deal, and you can get a great interest rate, and you're in a good location because that's the number one rule of real estate.
Yeah.
It's not always about the house, but it's about where your house sits. Location, location, location is the number one rule of real estate. Always.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's the best location? I know you can't just like disclose it, like,
I mean, that
as an
depends.
agent. Like,
Yeah.
when somebody asks you, like, on the phone, hey, I'm from California, I want to buy a house. Make sure to put me in a great location. How do you answer that question? How do you help
What
and
do
guide
you
and
like-
navigate?
What do you like to do? I always ask them what they like to do, what their hobbies
Yeah.
are, what they like to do. If they're working, right?
Okay.
If they're, you know, proximity to job, if they're being transferred here,
Okay.
that's important. And, you know, kind of what they like to do. And then what I tell them is get in the car and drive. You guys, you drive first. I'm going to tell you, okay, you told me what you like to do, so I'm going to recommend areas A, B, C, D, and then I'm going to recommend that you drive. You don't need the real estate agent to drive you around and like be in your ear. You know what I mean? Because you kind of, for me personally, like I like to feel it, right? It's like a vibe. It's like what you feel, like, oh, I really like this area, and then park the car, right? And then go into the Target, go into the grocery stores, go into like the daily things that you're going to be doing every day. That's kind of what I tell my people to do. And then some people are like, gosh, I really love the Summerlin area, or, oh, the Summerlin area wasn't for me. It's just too dense feeling. I don't like it. I like this area more. And it's honestly what feels best to you.
So you're not buying the house, you're buying the house, neighborhood, the community, the master plan community, and the surrounding areas, and then the drive to the master plan.
If commuting is, if they're not working from home and they have to commute, then that's, traffic used to be not so bad. We were talking about this.
I know.
It used to be like 20 minutes I can get to wherever I wanted to get to, and now it's like, now I put it in Google Maps because, I sell a lot of high rises, and with the Tropicana, with the Martin and the Panorama, it's like Google Maps will take me on a different route every day.
You know what's crazy is I can literally get from my office to Sky Canyon in 35 minutes. Now it takes 48 minutes. It's taking even longer. I don't even go down to the 15. I just take all the way around to the 215. Like, it's a little bit longer, but it's a faster drive.
Tell you a funny story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the other day my mom and I had to go preview houses in Summerlin, in Trilogy. Okay, and
age restricted.
Yeah, and she was gonna drive, and she's she's a little bit older, and she doesn't love to drive, and she's like, I'm gonna take Eastern to Desert Inn, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like,
Eastern to Desert Inn.
Yeah, that's what I said. She's like, I don't like. The
oh no, we're cruising now.
And I was like, no, that's a hard no. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm driving. And so we get on. I'm like, I'm taking the 215. It'll take me 25 minutes. We get on the 215, and it is just like bumper to bumper, and it's stopped, and like on my maps my ETA is going from 12:15 to 12:30. I had to call the appointments. I'm running late.
Oh wow.
I think the vice president was in town at that time, so like it was
stopping traffic.
And she's like, I told you Eastern to Desert Inn, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I'm not doing that. So then I had to like literally hard ride it on the freeway. People were nice and let me off.
But what's weird is on the freeway, depending on where the junction is, it's like you kind of get bottlenecked a little bit. So like from the 15 and the 215, you get bottlenecked there, but then it opens all the way up. But then when you go around the beltway of like Durango and 215, that gets bottlenecked there a little bit. Then after it opens back up again until you start hitting up to Summerlin.
We're just always growing pains. We're always cones everywhere.
But that's what I love about the city though. If you notice, it's not like California. Number one, this is the only city I've been to so far that's been clean. Okay. Number two is they move quickly on getting things done.
They do?
Yes.
For construction?
Yes, I've been to other cities. It's been a lot longer.
I feel like
really?
I don't know.
See, you're getting too used to it.
I guess. I feel like there'll be cones, and I'm like, what are they doing? They're not working. Like, why are the cones here?
No, construction here actually happens very fast.
Okay.
I've seen other cities, and I've seen
I guess I don't know any different.
Yeah, because you live here and you're so used to it.
I'm so used to it.
I do want to say thank you for coming on. I actually enjoy having a conversation with you. You have a lot of knowledge, and I'm sure a lot of people can learn a lot of things from you. Now, if somebody wants to buy a home, right, what is the best way, or how do they get a hold of you?
Go to my YouTube channel, Start Team Real Estate, and also LasVegasLuxuryResidences.com. It's a great website, great tool. And then from there, we have sister sites. If you're looking for a condo, you can go to Las-Vegas-Penthouses.com and then get a hold of me there.
Oh, wow. So you did such a great job.
It's that YouTube experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing we got to mention. You're on YouTube, 10,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
Also, she has one video right now. It has 125,000 views. I believe it is. Is it a penthouse?
It's a penthouse. It's amazing. You guys got to check it out.
4.5 million. Was it an end cap?
Yep. End cap, best corner, beautiful corner unit, 4,800 square feet. Just take the tour because it's absolutely amazing. The views are amazing. Furnishings are amazing. Some people like them, some people don't. I love them.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a verbal offer right now. This is a one-time offer.
I had that same situation.
Okay.
What is it?
Verbal offer. I know this right now. Don't get upset. Okay. I submit investment deals all the time. I'm gonna give you this one-time cash only. 7-day closing. Okay.
Okay.
1.8 million.
That's probably, I'll present it to my seller. I can't speak for my seller, but that's probably going to be no.
right now we're flipping a lot of properties and we're submitting offers, and a lot of these agents don't like York right now.
I don't know why they take it so personally.
No, they do. What did they call you, York? The lowball guy or something? What do they call you?
Nothing.
He doesn't want to say.
Business is business. We can't speak for our clients. You know, that's what I always say. I always present everything because it's not my deal.
Yeah. And you know what? You're absolutely right. And you don't know the seller's situation.
Right.
But you know what? On the flip side, sometimes when I get an offer, I'm like, fucking agent, what the fuck? I get pissed, you know?
Well, you know, we say these things, but it's like, okay, well, let my seller decide.
Because you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
But I really do appreciate you coming on the show, and I think we should do a video collaboration together. I'm not too sure.
Fill the penthouse?
Are you gonna walk me around?
However you want to do it.
Yeah, let's do a collaboration together. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think it would be awesome. I think your audience would love it. It's a special property.
All right, guys, that is pretty much it for the LV Home Experts podcast. Until next week, Wednesday, we have a very special guest. So stay tuned. Other than that, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Does your house look like and have you been considering remodeling your home for some time now? Well, if you love real estate like I do and appreciate the attention to detail in the craftsmanship required to build a remodel or a gorgeous home, then I got the perfect company for you. Guys, I highly recommend Design Zone Remodeling. They are a stellar company that will turn your outdated home into your own personal sanctuary. They specialize in bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, and full house remodels. Design Zone Remodeling has a reputation for excellent workmanship, competitive fees, and being able to offer a wide range of services and deliver the outstanding results to their clients. I use Design Zone Remodeling on my personal properties. Give Design Zone Remodeling a call today at 725-223-0871 or visit their website at designzoneremodeling.com to request a free consultation today. Hey, what's up everybody? Did you know that 96,000 people move to Las Vegas every single year? The question is why? Well, due to the Fed's interest rate hikes have increased the cost of living for many Americans across the country. Americans are now looking to relocate to Las Vegas because of no state income tax, low unemployment, low cost of living, and affordability for housing. We're also the entertainment capital of the world. So if you are thinking about relocating to Las Vegas, we would like to offer you a free Southern Nevada market report and a relocation guide. All you have to do is click on that link below to claim yours today.